he says that, it's him, he's got this problem, but he's not making any attempt to make it better.
Yeah, and then again, you're going to hear this over and over again. It's your life. It's your love life. You go ahead and just tell him, look, this is problematic, and the relationship will end if you don't address the problem. Because guess what? I'm a beautiful sexual human being, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life not having sex, and if you're not game, then I got to go somewhere else, and I'm sorry. But I get to have everything in my relationship. You're awesome, so get it together, or, I got to go. And figure out what the problem is, because it could be symptomatic of other things. It's either some self-esteem issue that he's having, or maybe he's just not that into you. But either way, you should be having sex because you're awesome and you're a fox.
Thanks for calling, Jill. Do you think, too, on that, sometimes for a guy, if you see all the erectile dysfunction commercials and all that stuff, that would be hard for a dude to admit. It'd be rather just to say, hey, I don't feel like it, rather than admit, hey, everything's not working.
I guess that's true, but now, with Viagra and all that stuff now, it's all above board. We all know we all know that there's problems, and we all know that there's solutions. The great thing is we know there's solutions, and the person that you're with loves you. They just want to be with you. They don't care. She wasn't like she was, it wasn't like she was like, you're a horrible person because you can't get it up. It was like, whatever. So I really think, we have so many solutions to our problems now, and when somebody is unwilling to get a solution, they're not interested in being with you.
That's true. Very good advice. Now, here's another great call. Lisa, you're on the phone with Greg Behrendt. What is your problem?
Hi. I just want to know, when you're dating somebody, when do you tell that person that you have genital herpes? Do you tell them, on the first, second date, or when you're going to be intimate for the first time?
Right before you know it's going to get intimate. Right before. Not right before. Not as you're stripping.
Like moments.
But no.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you know it's going to get intimate, then you go, I have to share something with you, and that's a tough one. But I got to tell you, I dated a girl in college who had them, and I liked her enough, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's not have it during an outbreak. Let me. How do I work around it? I don't know anything about it, so let's work through it because they were a good person.
Wow, you're an understanding guy.
Yeah.
You
I know.
are.
Well, because I like them. This girl was a fox, and
so you wait, you hook them first. You get them to where they're definitely in there and they like you, and then you tell them before you take it to the intimate level.
There you go. That's really it. You find out. Well, also you find out if is it time to tell them, and you'll know. You'll know, and you'll say, look, this is the thing that's happening, and then if they're cool with it, it's a really good way to find out if somebody likes you or not.
It's true.
So, but it's nothing to be ashamed of.
And maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe he'll have herpes too.
Oh my God, or something worse.
All right, thank you.
Exactly. It
All
makes
right.
you feel better.
Now, here's a person requesting a book for you to write. It's one that Greg Behrendt has not yet written. She wants you to write a book called How to Make Him Like You. And this is Angelica. You're on with Greg Behrendt. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm not saying you how to like you, but just the steps on. I've read both of your books. I love them. They're great. But the steps. What's a good step? What's not a good step? The how-tos and how-not-tos.
To get someone to like you?
To get someone to like you?
Just to start a relationship.
Oh, that's what the dating book's going to be all about. We're going to cover all of that.
When I was speaking to the girl, she was like, "How to like you?" I didn't mean it like that. That's not the problem.
About dating, then? Steps on dating?
Yes, exactly. Steps about dating.
That's what the whole book's going to be about. It's going to be about you understanding that, first off, the one thing you have to know, most dates don't work out. Most relationships don't work out. And if you go in knowing that, you'll probably have a better time because you go, well, this is going to suck. But it's also going to be awesome.
It's like a movie. You go to a movie expecting nothing and you're pleasantly surprised.
The connection of a lifetime doesn't happen every day. So, you got to go in thinking, hopefully this will work out. But I'm not going to take it all so seriously. I'm not going to put a lot of expectation on it. I'm going to go in and see if this is a good person worth hanging out with, and then we'll see where we go. So, basically coming into it with lower expectations, understanding what it is you're about to do, knowing that it'll fail because every relationship fails, tell the one that doesn't. And also just go in liking yourself. You got to go in going, you know what? I'm awesome, and whatever this person decides doesn't matter because I'm a good person, and I'll and we'll see how it goes.
And hopefully we'll have freaky sex before I figure that out.
And also, and decide what you want out of a relationship. Not every relationship has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just meet people and we're supposed to have sexual relationships with them so we can learn something so that when we take that into our next relationship, it's all building up to that one thing,
Very cool. Greg Behrendt is our in-studio guest. He is the author of He's Just Not That Into You, and it's called A Breakup Because It's Broken. He's got TV shows coming in the fall, The Greg Behrendt Show, and the other show is called Greg
Behrendt's Wake Up Call.
Greg Behrendt's Wake Up Call. This is all coming in the fall. You are a busy guy.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being here, being our therapist today. We'll have more of your calls. When we come back, we've got a lot of, there's issues everywhere. And then we've got Sugar Ray Leonard to talk to. All that and more coming up next on the Jamie J. All right, everybody, let's blaze through this Therapy Thursday. Our last round of calls here. Greg Behrendt is our in-studio guest, and we're going to get through you guys, and then coming up at the top of the hour, we will have boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard in here.
Yeah.
He's hosting the new round of the Contender, and we'll tell you all about that. Always cool to have Sugar Ray in. Right now, let's talk to Melissa. Melissa, you're on the line with Greg Behrendt. What is your question?
Hi. Well, I've always been really confident about my relationship. Engaged to an older man, but every now and then I get people telling me, are you sure this is going to work out, in 10, 15 years? I just kind of want to know the statistics of something like this working out.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the statistics of whether it works out, and who cares? Do you love him?
Oh, I love
Then
him
that's all
so
you need
much.
to know. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Who cares? You don't need cynics telling you whether it's, that's just people with too much time in their hands worrying about your relationship. If you love him and he loves you, then move on and let other people worry about how it's going to work out for you.
Armchair quarterbacking in relationships, all your friends.
Oh my God! I don't know what the statistics are. Look, if you like a guy and he's 78 and you're 12 and you're in 18, then that's your deal. I don't care. There's no right age to be in love.
Love conquers all, allegedly.
Well, I mean, she knows. What you're looking at.
Very cool. Laura, you're on the phone now with Greg Behrendt. What's your question?
Hi. I wanted to see your opinion on how you feel about long-distance relationships.
I think they're really difficult, and they're not really relationships because you're not spending as much time together as you could. They're hard. I mean, if they're temporary situations, I think they're okay.
Well, because I've been with my boyfriend for almost 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've been talking about marriage, but I want to finish school, and he just recently moved out of state. And everybody just has this really negative opinion about it, saying, oh, well, you know what? No, you had your chance while he was here. Now that he's gone, just things aren't going to work out.
Hey, you know what? They can mind their own business, how their relationship's going. God, I hate other people. If you're happy and it's working out and you guys are okay with it, I think they're very hard. However, if you like your relationship and the guy and he's okay with it, then it's fine. You know what? But if it's if it's one of those things where you've asked him to move and he doesn't want to move, then that's a problem. If you've asked him to be together with you and he doesn't want to do that, that's a problem. But otherwise, if you're fine with it, tell other people to mind their own business.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think we should go about the negotiation? Because he was going to come back. Well, he was going to come back to California, and then now he just wants me to finish school and then move out to Texas.
Well, you figure out whatever's best for both of you. Whatever's best for you in the relationship, and then decide where your lives are going to be. If he's more important or your career is more important, you figure it out.
Yeah, I've done the long distance with my current wife, but it was only for about 6 months. But I didn't know it was going to be for 6 months. Could have been forever at the time, and it worked out. We did it. I was in Phoenix, and she was here in Los Angeles, and in the end, everything works. It can work if
the relationship's a priority, you guys will make it work. And if
Yeah.
it's not a priority, it'll end, and you'll meet somebody else because you're awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's why at the end of 6 months, I came back. We decided that's what was best and going to make it happen.
There you go, man.
Monica, you were on the line with Greg Behrendt. What is your relationship question?
Hi. I like this guy who kind of likes me, but he always
Kind is not a good word.
How old are you?
I'm from the Valley. I'm sorry, but
No, if he kind of likes you, it sounds like you're not 100% on that.
Well, he always flirts. He buys me food. He'll be calling me in the middle of the night. Yet he won't ask me out.
Yeah, okay,
meal.
well, then, you know what? He's just not that into you. Because if he was, he'd ask you out. And, you can ask him what the deal is and tell him, tell him he's got a 5-minute opportunity to ask you out. And if he doesn't take it, he's done.
Well, because he had previous girlfriends.
I don't care. Boring yawn.
Excusing.
Oh, boy, previous girlfriends, and he's afraid to commit and blah, 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 and we all fell down. Look, I had a horrible relationship before I met my wife. The last woman I was with threw a skillet at my head. And I went, you know what? Maybe relationships aren't for me. And then I met my wife, and I said, you know what? They are for me. So there you go. We all have baggage. Yawn, bore, sleep, fall down, get work, get help.
You know what's funny, too? I noticed, the majority of the calls today have been women and the crap they buy. I was in a bad relationship before, so I can't really be in a relationship, and they'll put up with it.
And you know that we all say that as a stall because we don't know what we want. But then when I like somebody, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to work on that because you're going to leave if I don't.
Yeah, and it definitely will happen for you.
Yeah.
Let's keep the phones going. Therapy Thursday with Greg Behrendt. Corrine, you're on the line. Welcome to the show. What is your question?
Hi, Greg. I think you're great.
Oh, thank you.
But I have a quick question. There's a guy who we've been having friends with benefits for a long time. And about 11 years we've been good friends. And he got a girl pregnant, so he wants to marry her. But then he tells me he doesn't want to marry her and he wants to keep a relationship with me while he stays with her and takes care of her kids.
Oh my God! If you don't know the answer to that, I don't know what to tell you because come on. Is this the way you dreamed it would be when you were a young girl?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Are you better than that? Are you better than this kind of relationship?
Oh, I hope so.
You're with a guy who wants to be with you, and he got another girl pregnant. He sounds awesome. What a catch! You're better than this. What's your name again?
Corinne.
Corinne, you can do better than this, don't you think?
Oh,
don't you deserve better? How about a guy that wants to go out with just you and doesn't want to get other people pregnant?
Wow, winner.
Don't you think that'd be great?
Yeah,
that's what you deserve, right?
Do you think this friendship should should we keep friends after he marries her? If the physical stuff.
No,
he's gonna marry her
after he marries her. Oh my God, get out of this relationship immediately. You don't need to be friends with him. You need to make space for somebody new in your life. Okay?
Thank you.
Come on, Corinne. Some of those calls amaze me when they call through and it's blatantly obvious the answer.
Yeah, now here's the thing. He's married to somebody else and they just had a baby, but I'm still thinking he might like me. So what do you think, Greg?
Oh, man.
I say hang in there. Wait till that maybe that other girl, maybe something horrible, Oh my God.
Hope is a good thing. Just hold on to it. Let's talk now to Sabrina. Sabrina, you were on with Greg Behrendt for Therapy Thursday. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys.
Hi.
I'm originally from Northern California. I moved down here a couple years ago for school. Unexpectedly met my now boyfriend. We've been together for almost 4 years. The relationship is awesome. He's incredible. My question is, I've kind of always had it in the back of my head that I'd like to move back up north 5-10 years from now.
Yeah.
Whenever this subject comes up with him, he's kind of like, I can't promise you anything. I don't know if I'll ever want to move back there. We have a great life here, blah, blah, blah. I'm just wondering if I'm moving, kind of thinking too far ahead in the future. Is this something that I should be worrying about right now and maybe something that would put into a relationship right now, or should I just let kind of the future unfold itself?
Yeah, why don't you see where your life takes you? It sounds like it all depends on what's more important to you, the relationship or moving up to San Francisco in 5 years.
Yeah.
I think, let the relationship be it. But also, look, you've been clear about it. He's been clear about it. If San Francisco is a deal breaker for you, then end the relationship. If it's not a deal breaker for you, then be in the relationship and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for the call, Sabrina. Everybody else, we're going to wrap up Therapy Thursday. It's that time of the day. We've got a lot coming up for you still. Greg Behrendt staying with us. He is our guest host this morning. We're going to talk more about his upcoming TV shows, the upcoming book. It's what everyone's been calling about this morning. And then when we come back, boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard will be in studio with us, and we're going to talk all about the new season of one of our favorite shows last year, which was The Contender.
So good.
Oh, wasn't it awesome?
So good.
Really good drama. It was a great reality show, and Mark Burnett.
Mark Burnett, man. He knows how to tell a story, and it's awesome.
That guy's awesome, and Sugar Ray is in studio when we come back. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's Jack and Stench holding down the fort while Jamie's out on maternity leave, and our guest host today, Greg Behrendt. And now we bring another guest into the room. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard. Thank you for joining us, Ray.
Thanks, guy. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Very good to have you back in here, and very good to see The Contender coming back to TV.
Yes, it is. In fact, The Contender comes back, premieres July 18th on ESPN.
So a whole new network. Is it a totally revamped show? What can we expect compared to the last Contender and this one?
It's a revamped show, a better show, a great show, because I think, first of all, these young men, they appreciate the opportunity because they've seen what has happened with the guys from the first season.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have come from making $3,000 to making six figures now.
But every fight, so they're bringing it up.
Yeah, without question. Also, they become household names.
Who's the most successful of the last season?
Sergio Mora, the champion.
Sergio Mora is still the guy.
Yeah, and Alfonso Gomez, without question, he was
I
a
loved
fan favorite.
Alfonso.
People love Alfonso.
He was tough, man, and came back in and scrapped it out. Alfonso was awesome.
Just an amazing display of talent and courage and heart.
Yeah, and how's he doing now professionally?
He's doing great. I mean, he's a winner. He all those guys are winners without question.
That's the greatest thing about the Contenders, when you call a guy out and you're like, I don't know, I could be him.
I thought he made the biggest mistake when he called out Peter Manfredo, who incidentally was the top guy on the show. And when Alfonso said, I want to fight that guy, I said, this kid has been hit too much.
In his young career.
Too much. But he beat Peter.
Oh, that was awesome.
It was an amazing display.
And watch him that show is so good. If you guys didn't see last season, it's the Contenders, a reality boxing show. It's done by Mark Burnett.
Mark Burnett, without question.
And they really get in. They hook you into these guys' lives, and you see their training and what they really want.
Yeah, the storytelling's really good. It's compelling. Like, it doesn't matter whether it really is truly like, if you like boxing, awesome. But even if you don't love boxing or you don't know anything about boxing, you still are compelled by these people and their drive and what they do and their families. Like, it's great. It's great television.
It takes you behind the scenes because all of a sudden now you see these young men, these young warriors, if you will, who just happen to box to make a difference in their lives. And it just shows so much heart and courage.
That's what I'm surprised about, is how sensitive they were. And how smart they were. Smarter than I imagined they were. I guess that was a dumb stereotype on my mind, but they were nice guys. A lot of them were really sweet guys.
It's so funny you say that. My always says, you know what? I never knew that boxers cry. I said, baby, we have emotions too. We are sensitive too.
There were some shows that were crying on there than on an episode of Oprah.
The crying though when they just lost and in their eyes that they like have lost the dream. Oh God, it's ripped at your heart. This guy's in the shower crying and his kids are there. Man,
because you see these guys, you know, they have this once in a lifetime opportunity to make a difference in their whole life. And then all of a sudden, they lose, and it's like, it's like crushing, man. Devastating.
Yeah. It is absolutely devastating. The show, the drama of the show, I swear, you have to watch the show. It's coming July 18th on ESPN, and they will hook you in so much. And I don't know if it's Mark Burnett or if it is, it's just boxing in general.
What? All we do is turn the cameras on. That's all we do. What you see is what boxing is truly all about.
Yeah.
And what happens, people get the chance to see behind the scenes of these young warriors, these young gladiators, these present-day gladiators, because I can recall back in the day when I was fighting, you know, I was fighting for my family. I was fighting to pay bills. I was fighting to make a better life. And it was all through boxing that I did that. And when Mark Burnett created this vision to do this, it just caught on like barn. It was amazing.
Is it the same weight category?
No, actually, it's welterweight. Actually, it's my division back in the day.
You want to jump in there?
Yeah.
You know you do.
I do. I really do. I can't hold the back. I did. I want to try.
Like, I can get that guy.
I kept saying, you know what? I'm 50, but, you know, maybe I can.
Are you 50 years old?
I turned 50 May 17th.
Well, obviously you can't see him. He was running radio, but you look good, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just turned 38, and I look older than he does.
No, it's just the facial hair. Is
that what it is? I got to go baby face, and I'll look fine? Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the telephone number is 1-800-STAR-987. You want to call and talk to Sugar Ray Leonard. He's in here. We're talking about the show on ESPN now, July 18th, The Contender. Absolutely amazing. And, of course, we can talk about Sugar Ray and all the great stuff that you've done. Watching you growing up was amazing. One of the greatest fighters ever, especially of my generation coming up, watching you and Duran and watch you battle Tommy the Hitman Hearn and watch you knock out Hagler. The Hagler fight, that was the best one to me.
Yeah, he still doesn't like me.
You guys really? Animosity still?
Well, not resentment.
I guess so.
No, but Tommy Hearn and I were very good friends. Tommy came to my birthday party when I turned 40. He came to my wedding back in '93. And Tommy calls me periodically, you know, Ray, you know, on my cell phone. Ray, what you doing? I said, nothing. He said, how much do you weigh? I said, Tommy, why? Why, Tommy? He wants to fight one more time.
No!
Yeah,
That's so funny.
He do. Yeah, he does.
All right, we'll take your calls next. A lot of people on the line want to talk to Sugar Ray Leonard. We'll do that right after this on the Jamie, Jack, and Stench Show.
All right, we're back.
Wow, that was quick. We are back. It is the Jamie, Jack, and Stench Show. Greg Behrendt is our guest host and in studio right now. Sugar Ray Leonard, thank you so much for being here, Sugar Ray.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, guys.
Nice to have you. The Contenders coming back July 18th. It's going to be on ESPN this time, and there's people on the lines. They want to talk to you. They want to talk about the show. I'll see one of the first questions is one that we haven't asked yet, and I think everyone wants to know. Angela, welcome to the show. What do you want to ask Sugar Ray?
Wait, is this me?
Yeah, that's you there, Angela.
It is you, Angela.
Oh my God, my husband is going to be so jealous that I'm talking to Sugar Ray Leonard. But I have to say, I was not a boxing fan at all until I saw this
show, and you get so hooked on it. And I started having contender parties and inviting people over and stuff like that. It was so great.
We did the same thing.
But I just want to know, is Sly Stallone going to be a host on there again this season?
No, unfortunately, Sly will not be on the show because he is busy working on Rocky 6. Yes.
Rocky 6.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an incredible movie too.
You know what, Kay? I like Sly. Sly came on here a lot and was very cool to the show throughout the last Contender, and we loved having him in. But I honestly think at times he thinks he's a real boxer. Sly's an actor, and it was like they'd be like, "Oh, it's Rocky," and then they're like, "He's gonna get in with you," and I'd be like, "Sugar Ray Leonard would just kick his ass."
But Sly could beat you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I wouldn't fight him.
No, but I mean, he's not a boxer. Sugar Ray Leonard is legendary, and there were times where it was like, Rocky's gonna get in there with Sugar Ray Leonard and be like, "That'd be a really quick fight."
No, Sly and I actually we won a few rounds, and
did you?
It was close. It was controversial, but it was close.
And did he slowly learn to box throughout making all those Rocky movies?
This man has such a passion for the sport of boxing. He really does. And,
has he got skills?
Oh, yes, without question.
Yeah?
Yes.
Keeps him up? He can hold him up? He's good?
He can hold his own.
That's awesome.
But
that's good to know, because a lot of actors, you would
go,
yeah, no.
He wasn't acting. He had that big left bomb in Rocky, remember?
Yeah. Was a left hook.
Yeah. He would get in there and kick Mr. T's ass. Here we go. Let's talk to Kate right now. Kate, you're on the phone with Sugar Ray Leonard. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yay!
You guys are doing a great job, Sugar Ray. I love you. You're awesome.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just wanted to repeat what the last girl said. I'm not a big reality show person. I'm not a big boxing person, and this show is awesome. So all the girls that they're not going to like the show, you guys are right. It totally just catches you, and
it is
the drama is
girls
awesome.
Come into the show.
You know what, man? It's all about behind the scenes, because all of a sudden now we humanize boxing, the sport. And we show these young gladiators, these young present-day warriors, what they are about. You know, their family and their loved ones, and it's really, really special. Now,
I know when you were boxing, we'd see you with your son.
Yes.
Did he come to all your fights, some of your fights? Because that voice freaked me out on the Contender. We talked about this off there. It's like, man, the kid's right there, and Dad's getting the hell knocked out of him.
Was that hard for the kids?
Well, you know, but that's the reality of it, you know, because our kids came to support us, you know.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 10, 12. I mean, little Ray now is 32 years old.
Wow.
So he was always there.
And he was there for all your fights?
All my fights, yes, for the most part.
Wow.
Yes, he was there.
Man, and does that make it? Because I swear, when you put the camera on those kids right after Dad lost, they rip your heart out.
It's
for them
tough.
To see their
it's
dad
really,
lose.
really tough, and we became very sensitive towards that because you know we try not to have the kids involved because it's difficult. Because when you lose, especially the way you lose,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
it's hard.
Let me ask you: are some weight classes bloodier than others? Because
no. Greg, no.
It's all bloody?
It can happen in heavyweights to flyweights. It doesn't make a difference.
It's
mean,
it seems like the lighter guys are so fast, though. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. There was some bloodiness on that.
Yeah,
there was some blood up in that show.
Yeah, Contender had some bleeders last season.
Yeah, there were a couple of guys. You know,
these guys were so dedicated and so competitive and so. I mean, they are fighting for their life. They're fighting for their loved ones, and that's what made the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's talk to more people on the phone. Want to talk to Sugar Ray. Steve, welcome to the show. You're on the line. Hello. Steve?
Hello?
Hi, Steve. You're on with Sugar Ray Leonard. Go ahead.
Oh, how you doing, Sugar Ray? It's a pleasure to talk to you. Wow.
Hi, Steve.
I have actually two questions. One question is, you were a promoter at one time a couple of years ago. Are you going to go back to it?
You know what, man? I had a guy in my organization who was such a bad guy. And it's best to be with people like the Contender people who are decent people, have morals and integrity. And that's the reason I shut my company down, because the guy was a bad guy. But you know what? I'm giving back, and it's gratifying to be a part of, you know, these young men's lives as they try to become world champion and successful, not just in the ring, but outside the ring, too.
And it's a great story to watch. And now, okay, we've been telling you that a lot of ladies that aren't into boxing, They got into the Contender so much it just became consuming because the story is so riveting, and you won't believe this call. Erica is on the phone. Erica, tell us about the Contender and your life.
Oh, well, I was pregnant at the last Contender, and I loved it so much that my doctor wanted to schedule my C-section on a Sunday, and I said no because I have to watch The Contender. And so we scheduled for Friday so that I could watch The Contender Sunday night.
Isn't that crazy?
Can we get a tape of this? I love this. This is awesome.
I love the show, and I've got goosebumps that I'm so excited it's coming back. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I love it.
It's just as much drama on July 18th on ESPN. I mean, these young men, these young, incredible men, they're so dedicated and so committed to using through boxing, I should say, to make a difference. And it's just amazing, their desire and their heart and their soul, their spirit.
It's amazing, and I tell you, I started watching that show because I'm a boxing fan, and I wanted to watch it, and then I got hooked into the story and watching these guys and rooting for the guy that I hated to get beat, and want to see who was going to knock this guy out, and it's so riveting. You absolutely must watch it. July 18th on ESPN, and Sugar Ray, we'd love to get you back in again right around launch time to talk to you. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, babe. Thanks,
all right,
guys.
hey, and congratulations on the new season of The Contender. We'll be back right after this on the You guys, welcome back to the show. It's the Jamie, Jack, and Stench show. In here with us today, our special guest host, Greg Behrendt. Greg Behrendt has got a lot going on. He came, exploded onto the world stage, so to speak, with the book, He's Just Not That Into You. And from that book came the next book. It's called A Breakup Because It's Broken. And the new book is coming, and we can expect a new book in...
sometime in January.
In January coming out?
Yeah, something like that, or maybe April, something like that. Somewhere in the 2007.
So the Greg Behrendt TV show coming before the next book.
That'll be April 12th, the Greg Behrendt show here on KTLA.
And what's that show going to be all about?
That show's going to be a little bit about relationships. It's going to be all the different relationships that we have.
That's your friend, Jack.
Not just the relationship that you have with your girlfriend, but the relationship that you have with your boss, with your job, with yourself, with your life, with your weekend. All relationships.
How do you deal with a bad relationship with your boss? Because we have some of those.
You decide whether you can. You have to decide whether this is where you want to work and if it's worth it. Because no one's here to make your life miserable, and no one's allowed to talk to you in a way that.
I think
that's
you're
kind of
wrong.
extreme though too, because you can really like your job and have a bad boss. We've had it happen a million times.
Well, then right, but then you've made the decision to stay.
Right. So then, how do you deal with a bad boss when you want to keep your job and want to
it's
stay?
like a bad relationship that you really can't escape. You can't get out of because
it depends. It's like, is it the way he talks to you? I mean, you're a human being. I think you're allowed to say to somebody, "Hey, look, you know what? That's fine if that's the way you feel. You're not allowed to talk to me like that."
It's more the way.
Greg, you're a tiny bit cut and dry for me.
No, I like it.
You know what? That's because the gray area doesn't work. Then people saying things and they're miserable, and they go, "Oh, I'm miserable, but I like it."
I see. I'm with you on this one. Life's not always cut and dry. You like your job. You have a crappy boss. Sometimes you have to deal with it. So at that point,
relationships are cut and dry. I totally agree with you.
But it's cut and dry for you. You like your job more than you like your boss, so you keep your job. It's cut and dry for you.
Yeah. Well, I think there can be steps to making a relationship better with your boss and keeping your job.
Okay, a boss is in a total position of authority. If you're in a bad relationship with a boss, a boss doesn't like you, you're kind of screwed, or you choose to leave. But in your relationship with a partner, it should be even. You should be even keeled here. It should be 50-50. The boss one's a tough one.
Sometimes, though, I think it's also in how you act. Like, there's certain people that don't respond well to certain types of, conversations. So you sort of manipulate your own behavior to work better with that particular boss. Did that make sense?
If it's worth keeping the job. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, now, how is that? Let's say that kind of brings up a good point. You're in a relationship, you wouldn't, in a personal relationship, you wouldn't do anything to really compromise yourself. But there are times if you get in a relationship with a bad boss, you'll do things that you hate yourself for in order just to appease that boss so that you can continue on with your job, which you often need.
Exactly, and then you have to decide whether it's worth it or not. Whether
the financial gain is worth it.
Yeah, I've been in jobs where I was like, why did I do that? I hated myself while I did it. I compromised myself, and I don't feel good about that. And the work was crap. But if the work is good and the job is worth staying at, and you can it all depends on where your list of priorities are. But there are a lot of people that stay in situations and remain miserable because they believe that's what they have to do, and they stay miserable, and they make their lives miserable, and they make the people around them miserable. And to me, I'm like, well, it's a waste because that's not why you're here. And you're going to be laying there on your deathbed going, why did I keep that job? Boom, dead. There you go. So I was miserable the whole time. I really got nothing out of it, and now I'm dead.
It's funny. The career choice I took in my life was based on watching my father growing up. My dad did what he did and hated it every day, and came home and hated it and was always in a bad mood and hated what he did, but that's what all he knew how to do, and that's what he did. And I looked and said, wow, I'm going to do something I really have fun, I really love doing because I want to do it. And don't get me wrong, there's many days I come home and I'm as miserable as he was, and I want to strangle people, but I'm doing something that for the most part I really enjoy.
I think with your cut and dry method too, sometimes you know your thing is you want to live your life to the fullest and live to the fullest extent, but with the cut and dry method, you might be missing out on something. There was a lot of times down the line in this job where I was much lower on the totem pole and things were crappy and I could have just bolted because I wasn't being treated well, but I stuck it out and stayed around and look, I made it up to this point.
Why did you stick it out?
Because I had rent.
No,
you know what I mean? Not because
no, he's
life was
totally
great.
right. You could get another job.
You stuck it out because this is what you want.
I just don't think that you can.
It's what you want to do. You're doing what you want to do.
You're not understanding me at all.
Sometimes sticking it out is not a bad thing.
You guys aren't understanding me. I've been in show business for 17 years. I stuck it out.
Right.
It's because this is what I love to do. And the doors opened when I kept doing it. They kept getting better. Yes, it was hard. I'm not saying that life isn't hard and you have to quit everything that gets difficult. What I'm saying is if somebody treats you poorly, if you feel compromised, if you came in here and were only playing songs, didn't get to talk, were told that you couldn't say and have your opinions, that you had to be somebody else, then you would go, this isn't worth it. But the fact of the matter is you guys put on a great radio show. You ultimately like what you do. And the compromise is you have a boss that you don't enjoy. But the work that you do is awesome. Okay, my marriage isn't...
I didn't say anything about a boss I don't enjoy, just so you know. I mean, I love
well, here's the good thing. We're in such a corporate place. We've got 5 bosses. Pick the one we don't enjoy. They don't know.
Any boss.
You understand what I'm saying? You have to decide when the thing you're talking about is worth working for.
But I think the same is true of relationships, because I have relationships.
That's what we're saying.
You're making me more cut and dry than I am. I tell every single person that calls, did you talk about it? Have you worked on it? Did you ask them if they wanted to change it? And when they say, yes, I did, there was no movement, then I go, then you're at a point where you need to decide what's important in the relationship.
What about, though, if the person you're in a relationship with isn't going to change, it's not going to be maybe what you dreamed of as a little girl, but there is some validity to that relationship.
Then you have to decide whether you want a 3/4 or half relationship or whether you want to go out and try something and find the full thing.
In my opinion, there isn't such a thing as a 3/4 half relationship. It could just be a particular type of relationship that you have with that person.
It all depends if it's okay for you. If you're okay with it, then
if you're okay getting crapped on, then rock on.
What are you? I know, really. What are you actually talking to me about? Because what I'm saying is, if it's okay with you, then I'm not having. No one's calling. If you're okay with the relationship and you know there's problems, but you're mostly okay with it, you're not calling me.
Well, sometimes life isn't perfect, so I think that
there
are relationships. No, I'm not saying he said it or didn't say it. I'm just saying.
Okay, here's what I love. This is what I'm really taking from this right now. Our friend and co-host today, Greg Behrendt, is here, and I'm starting to think he hates Amy Sugarman as much as I do. And it only took 5 minutes.
I mean, you have to be more specific with Amy because I don't know what you're talking about.
She came in, by the way, and off air started ripping into Greg about, not every girl just wants to get married.
I don't.
Why did he say that?
I don't want people to get married. I'd rather they didn't, and that'd be something good. I expect people to ask for quality out of their lives, the best that they can every day. And they make the decisions that they make based on those things. And if you're with somebody who doesn't want to give you what you want, then you have to decide whether that's good enough for you. But you have to decide also that there can be things that are better. Otherwise, you stay in a compromised relationship.
There's a lot of things you say that I agree with.
We have to take a break. Stop beating up our guests. Don't get us in a bad mood. We've got Playmates coming in studio in like 15 minutes, and we need to be in a happy place.
Oh, my God. Are they? I can't say anything.
They're coming in studio. Yeah. The girls next door, half girls, will be here trying to be happy, having fun with Greg. Sugarman starts a fight. We'll deal with it more in week.